guys, so today we're talking about how to replace a QR on the Navigator Pro if it hasn't been used, it's still in the box. Okay, so for today you're going to have your replacement QR. You're going to have a short length of line, so this one's about 40 centimeters long. You're going to want some sort of push pin. This is just a little 3mm diameter screwdriver. And then if you do have the jig, this is just for holding the spinning handle, the QR, when you push the pin out. And this is a little pin that makes putting it back together a lot easier. And then these are a pair of multi-grips, and I've wrapped tape around them so you're not going to damage the parts. You could also use a hammer if you didn't have multi-grips. And then just a steel ruler and a permanent black marker pen. Okay, so you've got your box. It's a bit of a blessing in disguise. These labels are not particularly sticky, so you can remove them. If you do have one that's well stuck on there, you could just get a craft knife and just do a neat cut down the side of the label there. So open that one up and just take a good note of how it's packed. You'll notice that the QR sits on the top and it's got the north facing upwards. The trim handles down the side, and this little warning label is tucked in on top of the QR with the label down here. So we're just going to take this one out. You'll see the leash and the user manual are in the bottom of the box there, and they stay on the bottom. So we'll just leave that to the side. Okay, so the first thing we're going to want to do is just take this little card off. So if you see the side with a little indent there, that's the side we're going to pull on. So if you give that a bit of a pull, then that's going to pop off. So we'll just put that to the side, and also this little warning label with the QR code. So we're just going to pull the landing line out, pull that ball down, and just work the end of this loop down the landing line to give us some space. And then take that loop back over the swivel, and we can remove that. We can also remove the little landing line ball. Now, we don't want to lose this elasticized landing line up the PU tubing, so I've just got a line here. I'm just going to fasten that on the end so it makes it easier to work with. Once you've fastened that, you can pick up your jig, and this just makes it a bit easier to hold the whole thing together. Now you're going to want to have the side with the little dimples. Those are going to be the ones you're going to press on. Now get your tool. This one is just a little screwdriver that's about 3mm in diameter, and we're just going to push down on both sides so that pin comes out. There we go. Once that pops out, now the whole thing's going to pull apart. Okay, so if you don't have the jig, then another way is to just balance the QR on a couple of pieces of wood. So just place the bits of wood, about 4 centimeters apart, and then you want to put the QR across with the spinning handle just in the middle like that. Now you'll want to hold the spinning handle with one hand. Be careful not to stab yourself with your tool, and pushing down firmly on both sides. Require a good push until that pin pops out. Now we can remove the QR, the old one, put that one aside, and grab your new one. Okay, and so the third method is you could use a towel, or you could even use a vise with some soft jaws or some cardboard wrapped over it so you didn't damage the QR. But I'll just show one more way that you could do it. So just basically trying to create two high sides with a gap in between so you can pop that pin out. Got the dimples facing up, and then just get your tool. There we go. Okay, so once we've got that one off, we can put that old QR aside, and we're going to get the new replacement. And you'll just want to pop that pin out also. I'm just going to put it in the holder again to do that. Okay. So, end of your landing line, and feed that down through the middle of the shaft. This is where having a line makes this a bit easier. Pull that through. You'll notice there's some little cutaways on the shaft at the top. We're going to want to line those up with where the jewel pin goes through. Pop that on, and the other thing you'll notice is there's a little key in the top spinning handle. We're going to line that up with the recess in the bottom spinning handle. What I like to do is I put finger and a thumb on the end of the tubing, or my thumb here, just to keep it all under tension, and I rotate it until I can see through the holes there. Now at this stage, if you've got a pin that was supplied with the jig, this makes it a bit easier. I just pop that pin down and through one of those holes, and that's just going to hold it all together. Now you can flip the bar over. Okay, so once you've got that little pin holding it all together, I'll just pull it out a little bit, and then get the knurled pin in place. It's holding it all together, and we can just take that one out. Pop the QR on the jig, give that another bit of a wiggle. I'm just going to get my multi-grips and squeeze that together and drive it all home. Okay, so at this stage we can pull the landing line out a bit. Keep on holding on to it, you don't want to let it go, otherwise your landing line will spring back in there. But we can take that line off. First thing we're going to put on, pull it out a bit, then you've got a bit of room to work with. So squeeze the end, push that through the ball. Note the smaller hole goes upwards, so it indexes into there. Push that up, and then we're going to feed the end through the swivel and make a loop on the end and feed it back through itself. It's important to make that loop, should be sitting below the swivel, so when you slide the ball up, it's going to protect the end of the line there. Okay, so now all we've got to do is get our tag and put this back through the end of the swivel. So you'll see the open side. Just give that a little push until it snaps into place. So that is your updated QR. So now you just got to pop it back in the box. Put that little tag down there. And then this one just sits on top. Finger like that. You can do your box back up. Stick it back on. If you have just cut down there, it's not too big an issue. You could just put a little bit of clear sellotape over, or the box should hold together pretty good as it is. Now, to know that this is one that has been updated, what we're suggesting you do is get a marker pen and a ruler, and you'll see there's two barcodes here. The serial number is the one that is underneath the second barcode. So there's one on each side. But what we're going to do is just get a ruler, and so we can make a nice tidy job of it. And we're just going to put a line through that serial number. Come to the other side, and put a line through there as well. Now we know that the old QR, which had the same serial number as this box, has been replaced, and this box is good to go now with the new QR on there. Thanks a lot for all your hard work, guys, and look forward to seeing you out on the water.